Hello, brilliant entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to this special training called the $0 Facebook Marketing Plan. This is how we get you reach and converting people into paying clients on Facebook with organic strategies that won't cost you a cent in ad spend. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tash. I am a total geek when it comes to business strategy. I had my first business at, I think, 9 years old. I was crushing up fool's gold rocks and selling them as glitter at school. I read business books like people read novels, and I am totally obsessed with knowing all things about why some businesses fail, why businesses succeed, why customers buy, decision making, customer psychology, all sorts of things. I am also the facilitator of the Heart-Centered Business Conference and the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook community. Our community now has over 32,000 women in it, and the conference is held every year in Southeast Queensland in Australia. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and I am 6'2" tall. So just so that you know, I'm a very tall lady. When we meet in real life, I will probably have to squat to take selfies. If you're tall, please reach out. I love making tall friends. So above all else, if you are joining me today, I would love for you to remember that I love business and I believe women do it best and that we will change the world together. The old school models of business were built by men for men in a time where men were favored and masculine energy was required in order to succeed. But that has completely changed. And with the online business world, having a balance of masculine and feminine energy in your strategy means that your business will be more successful. You're able to connect more effectively with your audience. And I also believe that in the hands of women, money changes the world for the better. And I have a vision of seeing the Forbes 500 list filled with more women than men. And if you just think about that vision for me for 1 minute, you will help that become a reality. And if you think about if that list of billionaires in the world was more women than men right now, how different the world would be. And I truly believe that it is in the divine feminine energy coming into balance that we are going to change the world together with money. So I want you to quickly write down on a piece of paper or in your journal before we jump into this training, what is your biggest challenge with marketing on Facebook right now? And you can pause this video if you want to really get into it, but even if you just jot down 1 or 2 thoughts about what is your biggest challenge with marketing on Facebook right now? What is not working for you? What feels hard? What's challenging you with Facebook marketing? And I've asked this question lots of times, and here are the key things that I see throughout the last few years on Facebook that come up for people over and over and over again. Number 1 is I don't have the budget to get good reach. I know that if I could get my stuff in front of 10,000 people, it would get me the results that I want and it would get me the reach that I want and people would convert. It's just that I don't have the money to get in front of enough people. Number 2, I cannot get myself in front of enough people. So it might be not that they don't have enough budget, but they just can't get it to work organically. So, I can't seem to get the algorithm to work in my favor. Or when I post something, it just gets reach of 30 people. That's not going to do anything. Facebook sucks because of that. I don't know what to post. I don't have enough time to be on Facebook. I don't get any engagement on Facebook. It feels hard and it's not working. Everyone's telling me that Facebook sucks, so I feel like there's no point. Or there's 45 different strategies that I need to implement to be successful and I can't implement them all at once. So chances are if you're watching this video, you have probably got a few of those happening for you right now. Maybe they are some of the challenges that are coming up for you. If you didn't jot these down and they didn't come up for you when you were writing them down, I just want you to write down which one of those resonates with you the most. Is it that you don't have enough budget? Is it that you can't get in front of enough people? You can't get enough reach? You don't know what to post? You don't have enough time? You're not getting engagement? It feels hard? Everyone's telling you Facebook sucks, so it feels like it's pointless, or there's just too many strategies that you need to implement. You need to do too many things in order to be successful and you just can't get them done. So I want you to just write down which one of those resonates for you the most. The great news for you is that with today's plan, we are actually going to cover off all 8 of those and then some through the $0 Facebook marketing plan. So in today's training, I'm going to tell you what it is and why I love it. all of the things that you don't need in order to create money and income in your business and get sales, some simple and effective strategies, and I'm going to help you craft your own $0 Facebook marketing plan. Pretty sexy, right? And at the end of today's session, I will also let you know about how I support women to go even deeper with their strategy and create consistent results and income in their businesses through my takeoff program. So if you are looking for some more hand-holding, some more tailored advice, some more closely connected support, and being able to connect with a mentor, keep an ear out at the end because I will tell you how I can do that with you through the takeoff program. Okay. So what is $0 marketing? I think the easiest way to explain it is to tell you my journey when I first started my business. When I first started my business, I quit my job in 2013. I asked if I could go part-time. I had all these ideas about starting a business on the side. And my boss basically said, no, you can't go part-time. Or yeah, you can, but not for another 3 years. And there was lots going on for me and I just couldn't stay there. And so I had a big conversation with my partner. He had a job at the time. I was out earning him, I think it was like 4 to 1. But at the time we had this conversation and I said, I really think I can make a go of having my own business. And there's just so much that it could do for us. And we did some pros and cons. And so I had a trip to Europe that was coming up in May 2013. And it was just getting to the point where I didn't want to give my notice and then go on holidays and basically not have a transition period for my boss. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you my month's notice before we go on holidays. So I gave my month's notice. I did my month's notice before we went on holidays. So we went on our trip to Europe for 4 weeks. After my last day at work, we spent all the money that we had in Europe and maxed out our credit cards. And then we came back and instead of going back to a job, I was starting a business and I had no money. I really think that necessity was the mother of invention for me at that point in time. And I had, before we went on holidays, I'd booked in a 1-day VIP session with a coach. And she had said, yep, we're going to get you all set up and flying in this 1 day when you come back from your holidays. And I'd paid $4,000 for this thing. And so when I came back, I didn't think I needed to have saved any more money. I thought that this day was going to solve everything. And so I spent that day with that coach. Look, it was great. We had a great day. I came up with some amazing ideas and some great packages and ways to talk about my services, but I had no idea how to reach these people. And so ultimately, it did turn out way better for me that I didn't have the money because I needed to find ways to reach my ideal clients and connect with them and work out how to sell to them and get my messaging right without any money. And if I had had an extra $10,000, I would have put $10,000 into Facebook ads and ultimately it wouldn't have worked. So for me, because I had no money and my credit cards were maxed out and I had lots of ideas but no direction on how to make money on Facebook at that point in time, I had to come up with some ways to prove my messaging and to prove my business idea and to get clients without spending any money. And I didn't have budget. So the insights that gave me through that journey of getting clients online was, number one, I created proof of concept and messaging in my business without spending any money on getting that out in front of people. So I needed to be really good at telling people what I did when I first started because I had a very limited audience. And I did it through Facebook groups and having my own Facebook page, but I literally had no money to spend on ads. So I couldn't put my stuff in front of 10,000 people with $10,000 of Facebook ads and see if it worked. I had to work it out little bit by little bit by little bit. But what happened was that I built my business hyper lean. So when I did come up with something that was really awesome and got some resonance, I scaled that thing up. So I nailed it and then I scaled it. And actually, my business had way lower risk because I started making money from the 3rd or 4th week in my business from my Facebook strategies. And I had huge profit margins. I didn't have any ad spend. So for me, the $0 Facebook marketing strategy, even though it was born out of necessity, It was actually the smartest, most effective, most profitable way I could have started my business. And I'm so grateful for that experience. Now, before we go into the details of the $0 Facebook marketing plan, you might be sitting here thinking, oh, but I'm already a year into my business, or I'm already way further than that in my business right now. And I do want to acknowledge that you might be listening to this without being in the very early stages of startup, but this applies to all stages of business. So whether you're still in that direct selling stage of business like I was when I first started, and every person you talk to is a critical lead, and you want to make sure you can get as many conversations as possible to start testing and refining and getting this sorted, or whether you're in the scaling stage where you're putting ads into it, or whether you're in leveraging launch, you're creating leverage programs where you're selling one-to-many instead of one-to-one, and you're launching online group programs, or whether you're into process orientation and sales funnels, regardless of what stage of business you're in, this is really powerful stuff. Now, the reason why is because your Facebook marketing evolves as you go through those different stages of business, but the organic free strategies are a sexy foundation to nurture throughout your business journey. And if you want any proof of that, just ask my ad specialist, because when I am focused on my organic and my paid strategies in growing my business and launching, I get way better results than when I just do the ad stuff alone. And the organic free strategies that I implement now are 25 to 30 minutes a day, and that is it. But if I do that, that saves me thousands per week in Facebook ad spend. So it's never too late to nail your $0 Facebook marketing. And in fact, it can make your ads work more effectively and help you get way bigger profit margins, particularly when you are saving money on ad spend. So whether you're spending money on ads now or not, I think it's an important element, foundation, to cover in your business strategy. Now, the other thing I want to say is this is an old quote, and it's taken from an old quote. You might have heard this before, where it talks about when you work for someone else, you're giving your time in return for money. When you become the business owner, you are giving your money to save yourself time. And so when we think about this $0 Facebook marketing strategy, what we're doing is we're applying this same principle, but in two stages. You start by investing time in Facebook marketing strategies to make money, and then you start investing money back into your Facebook marketing to save time. So it's a strategy in which you nail it first and then you scale it. And for many people in business, they don't have big dollar figures to invest, but they do have some time. So that's what I mean by $0 Facebook marketing. It is investing some of your time into highly tailored, specific marketing strategies on Facebook that don't cost you money so that you can make sales and get some money from that time. And then you invest your money in Facebook ads to save back that time. You might even invest your money in a team member to do some of this Facebook stuff for you, and then you get back your time. But you need to nail it first before you scale it. And by doing this, you're also applying the principles of lean business, which helps us to incorporate the feminine into our strategy. Now, when I talk about masculine and feminine, I'm not talking about men and women. I believe we are all a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And old school marketing strategies were built by men for men who have masculine oriented businesses. So old school marketing strategies are very masculine energy orientated. And there are a lot of women out there in the online business world who use very masculine orientated business strategies. But what we are seeing in the online business world, and what we are leading as women in the online business world, is this more balanced approach. So instead of just following these masculine dominated strategies, we can create business strategies and marketing strategies that have a balance of the masculine and the feminine. And we're bringing the feminine energy to the fore. So the masculine is that whole, if you think about how the masculine connects, how men connect with each other naturally, it's about things like accomplishments, achievements, my toys, look at what I've achieved. Look at how well I've done. Look how pretty my wife is, whatever those things are. And if we think about how the feminine connection happens and how women connect, it's things like, look how human I am. Oh my God, how about his period pain? Oh, my nipples are so chafed from all of this breastfeeding. We connect over what makes us inherently human. And if you think about all of the studies into the masculine and feminine energy in Eastern medicine and old school philosophy, the masculine energy is about being the provider, and it's about that being assertive, and the feminine is about being the nurturer and being nurtured, and it's about being connected and being receptive and listening, right? And so, as I said, I'm not talking about completely binary descriptions of men versus women, but we are a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And so it's about really dialing up the feminine energy in our strategies. So to give you some examples, the masculine dominated models of business and marketing would be things like build first and sell later. Henry Ford, the customer can have any color he wants as long as it's black. I'll create a car and then I'll go out there and mass market it. When you do that, the sales approach is based on convincing, right? Oh, look at that sexy such and such. You want it, right? You want to be sexy like that. Buy my thing. I want to convince you to buy my thing. It also relies on big reach and big investment. The old school model of business, this masculine model of business, is based on taking risks and creating a thing and spending money on ads and putting big dollars into it and hoping that you can convince as many people as possible to buy it at the end of it. So you've got to get it in front of as many eyes as possible. And that style of business has a high risk rate, and it also has high failure rates. So if you think about, in the old days, let's say the 80s, you wanted to start a business. Okay, I'm going to start a bakery. Well, I need a shop front. I need materials. I need supplies. I need to hire staff. I'm going to need money in order to even get started. And that model of business often was putting other people's money at risk as well, right? The bank or investors. And if it didn't work out, there were safety mechanisms like you would declare bankruptcy and just start again. Or, as many of our more prominent failed male and masculine businesses would demonstrate, they just write it all off and start all over again and don't worry about the consequences. We're seeing now in this online business world and in the modern business world, the rise of the more balanced, more feminine oriented business model. And this business model is about selling and building to demand. You have an opportunity with the internet these days to find out what demand is and test demand and build to that demand rather than waiting and building and hoping for the best. You have a two-way opportunity, two-way conversation. And the feminine balance model takes that into consideration and uses that as part of its strength. We can be empowering people in the sales. We don't need everyone to buy at all costs because we've put $150,000 on the line to start this business. When you start a business lean, when you start a business without that big investment and without that big risk, you don't feel desperate and need to convince as many people as possible. You can empower people to make the right decision for them and empower them in the sales process. And instead of focusing on big reach and getting it out in front of 100,000 followers to make those 10 sales, you can instead focus on big conversion rates. So when I think about my business in the first 3 months, my audience would have been 100, maybe 150 people, but more than 15, 20% of those were paying clients. I had huge conversion rates because I had the opportunity to connect and build something that people needed and have conversations with people about what they were looking for and create something that exactly met that need. And so I had huge conversion rates and still do have way higher conversion rates than the more masculine-oriented businesses on Facebook. And if you think about what it takes to get leads on Facebook these days, and if you accept low conversion rates and that high churn and burn strategy, you have a huge investment required in ads, and you need to get that return on investment. If your conversion rates in a webinar launch these days are under 1%, then often you can't get enough leads at a low enough price for your offer to actually be profitable unless you put it up in the tens of thousands of dollars. So we really need to be focused on big conversion these days with Facebook anyway. And the more feminine, lean business model exactly does that. So it's really smart. And then instead of focusing on big investment, we make small, smart investments. That therefore lowers the risk. You're not putting as much money on the line and lowers the failure rates. So a lot of businesses that have these early failure rates fail because they spend too much money at the start. So if you're in a business where your profit margin is 90% when you're first starting out because you don't have these huge expenses, then your business is going to be way more likely to succeed and it's not going to have these high failure rates. This is why I believe women do it best, because we are way more willing and ready and able to embrace the feminine dynamic of business right now. We are hungry for this balance of masculine and feminine energy, and we're not afraid to dive headfirst into trying these strategies and working with them. And we are seeing more and more that women with online businesses have way lower failure rates than men with online businesses. And that is going to continue to be the trend until the masculine-oriented styles of business catch up to this smarter, more savvy, more feminine, more balanced way of doing business into the future. This is why I believe women do it best. So here are the things that you do not need to succeed in order to be successful online these days. Number one, you do not need to spend big money to make money. You just don't. And I've already given you some really good examples of that. And in the $0 Facebook marketing plan, you're going to see you don't need to spend big money on ads in particular in order to get great results for your business. You do not need to spend big money to start making money in your business. Number two, you don't need to be on all the platforms. Please do not listen to Gary Vaynerchuk when he says you have to be on every platform. He can afford to be on every platform because he already has profitability in his business. He already has teams of dozens of people. He already has people looking into this for him. And he gets up at 4:30 in the morning and goes to bed after midnight. You do not need to be on all the platforms in order to be successful in your business. In fact, you can be successful with one. So why wouldn't you get that one working really, really effectively first before you start exploring elsewhere? As an entrepreneur who's now made multiple six figures per year, 4 years in a row, and I'm nudging up to $1 million a year now, 7 figures in my business, I still haven't nailed my Facebook strategy. There's still so much reach and growth that's available to me on Facebook. Why would I go play somewhere else when I haven't got that sorted yet? So you don't need to be on all the platforms. You definitely don't need to put all the strategies in place. If you are like, oh, but this person says I have to do blogging, and this person says I have to do webinars, and this person says I have to do Facebook Lives, and this person says I have to do ads, and this person says I have to do this, and you don't have to do all the strategies. They have found a particular strategy that works well for them. You just need one. You just need one really good strategy that works for you. And we are going to create that together with your $0 Facebook marketing plan. Just one straight line strategy that you focus on nailing and scaling. That's all you need. You don't need to do all the things. You don't need to buy into the fear that if you're not on Snapchat, you're not doing webinars, you're not doing this, you're not going to be successful. It's absolute BS. They want you to believe that because they want you to buy their thing that teaches you Snapchat or webinars or whatever the thing is that they're selling you. You don't need all of that. You just need to find your unique strategy that's going to be tailored to your strengths and your business and your target market. That's all you need, your thing. Number 4, you do not need to hustle. You do not need to do long days, and you don't need to grind it out. I don't even want to know what that is actually referring to, where that turn of phrase came from, but you do not need to do those things. You can be successful with Facebook, with $0 Facebook marketing strategies in a few hours a day. And that few hours a day includes client serving time. There are women that I've worked with in my takeoff program who have started their business on the side of a day job, and they work 10 hours a week in their business and they get to $3,000, $4,000 a month, and then they quit their job. And when they quit their job, they stick to 10 to 15 hours a week in their business. And that is totally okay. My business is 20 to 25 hours a week in a big week and 10 to 15 hours a week in a quiet week. And that is totally doable. And I also believe that you train your business as to what it can expect from you from the start. So if you're currently working 12, 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week, you're training your business to need you for that amount of time in order for you to create the income that you're going to create. So if you have a goal of having a business that has smaller hours and bigger income, start by practicing smaller hours now, because you'll be more effective and more productive in the time that you give to your business anyway. Number 5 thing you don't need a website, you don't need funnels, you don't need collateral, you don't need all the bells and whistles that come with those marketing strategies that you see out there. You don't need them. My first 7 clients in my business, and I've got a bit more information for you that coming up shortly. My first 7 clients in my business never saw my website. I had a website, but it didn't really say much and it didn't really do much. You don't need a website, you don't need funnels, you don't need collateral, you don't need business cards, you don't need brochures in order to be successful in your business. You don't need them, and you don't need a giant audience. If I said to you, here are 10 women who are your 10 ideal clients right now standing in front of you, you just have to have a conversation with them, and 8 out of 10 of them will become paying clients and pay you over $2,000 for your VIP package right now. Why do you need 100,000 people following you? Why? You do not need a giant audience in order to be successful. And in fact, on Facebook, when you've got a nice small audience, that's when you're going to get your highest conversion rates. So why not capitalize on that strength of your audience size right now? You don't need a giant audience. So they're the things that you don't need. There are some things you do need though, and it's going to take a decision. So I want to be really upfront with you that it's going to take some big decisions from you in order to create that growth online and get those clients. It doesn't take all those things, all those bells and whistles that people are telling you that you need, but it does take some decisions. Number 1, it takes letting go of the front that you know it all already. So many people are afraid to ask questions of their audience and connect with their audience deeply because they don't want anyone to work out that they haven't got it all figured out yet. And yet, when you do ask those questions, you get so much connection and value and information from your audience. That is where the smart, fast, lean growth comes from, and it requires that you let go of that front. And that can be really hard for some people. And I know for myself, I used to go through on my Facebook page back in 2013, and I would ask questions on my Facebook page, and then if no one had answered within 3 or 4 hours, I'd delete it because I didn't want anyone to see that no one was answering me, because I wanted everyone to think I had it all figured out yet. And when I let go of that need for people to think I was successful and people to think I had it all figured out, all of a sudden I could see, so it was like seeing the Matrix. I could see, oh my goodness, this is where the growth is going to come from. This is what lean business is all about. I need to be honest with people that I haven't got it all figured out yet. And I need to be willing to ask questions that tell people I haven't got it figured out yet. You know, asking the question, okay, I need to understand from you, why aren't you putting your blogs out? What is it that you think is going on, or what is it that you need in order to be successful? Instead of saying, I know what you need, blah, 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 just listen to me. I needed to say, tell me what you need. And when I made that switch from having a front to being actually honest and real, and being really upfront that I didn't know all the answers of what people needed yet, that is when I got the hugest growth in my business and things changed. I flipped this business on its head. Number 2, you need to be willing to be curious. Yes, you may have an amazing thing that you want to go out and teach people. They just need to listen to me. They just need to listen to me. They just need to listen to you. But until you're willing to say, I just need to listen to you, I need to be curious about you, I need to understand what you want, you won't be able to create that connection, that deeply resonant messaging and connection that creates this growth and trajectory for you. So you need to be willing to do that. It takes a decision to say, I'm willing to be curious and totally tuned into listening more than I talk. And that's difficult in the masculine model of business. But in the feminine model of business, that's one of its unique value propositions. That's what makes it so amazing and effective. Number 3, readiness for your error in the trial and error to be public. So you're going to put things out there that don't work, and you need to be willing for that to happen in order to get this super fast growth. Because you need to be willing to put things out there without knowing whether they're going to work or not yet. You're going to collect all the clues about what's going to be the most effective fit and what you think might be right. But if it goes out there and it's a mistake, you need to be willing for that to be public. You need for people to be able to see the error in your trial and error. And again, that can be really difficult for people. So let's make some big decisions here. And then number 4, you need to be willing to practice with blinkers to this potential sexier options. And this is a big one. When you see someone's Facebook ad that says, webinars are dead, you need to blah, 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 you need to be willing to say the magical words, that's great, but I know what my strategy is. When you see someone say, you shouldn't have a Facebook page, you should have a Facebook group, the algorithm is busted and da-da-da, you need to be willing to put your blinkers on to what those people are saying and focus down on your strategy. And that comes with confidence and practice, but it also comes from a decision. You know what? I need to focus on this one thing. And I liken this to dating, right? When you are picking your marketing strategy, it's like going on a date with someone or looking to date someone. And initially, when you're looking for the people you want to date or marketing strategies you want to put in place, you're looking for things that tick all the boxes, right? And every single shiny marketer out there is trying to help you see that they tick all your boxes, right? When you go onto dating platforms, the smart and savvy dudes or ladies that are on there are putting their best foot forward, right? They're showing you all their shiny parts, all the ways that they tick your boxes, and marketing strategies are the same. So first you're looking to tick all the boxes, and then you go through this shiny stage, right? Those first few dates where everything is beautiful, everything is amazing, everything is fun because you're doing exciting things together and you're getting to know this person. And it's the same with your marketing strategy. The guru that you choose to follow, everything that says they say is perfect, and everything that the marketing strategy is going to do for you, it looks amazing and it makes so much sense to you. Like, this is why I haven't been successful, but now this is going to be different. And it's the same in dating, right? This is why I haven't found my perfect person, because this person might be my perfect person. And then suddenly you start to see some of the flaws. So your marketing strategy might not be getting as much traction as it did initially. Or you have a few people say no to you. And it's the same when you're dating. And then you go into comparison town. And this is where you can go one of two ways, right? If you're in a marketing strategy and you're going into comparison town, oh, actually, maybe there's something else that's out there that's better for me. Maybe this isn't right. Oh, those flaws are making me second guess my belief that this was the right thing for me, right? We know that there's no such thing as a perfect person out there. We know that. And yet, when we start to see flaws in people we're dating, we start to think, oh, no, maybe there's someone else out there who's better, who's perfect. I don't want to have to fix anyone. I don't want to have to deal with any flaws. And it's exactly the same with marketing strategies. Every single marketing strategy has some flaws. There's no such thing as a perfect marketing strategy. There's a marketing strategy that's the right fit for you and that will work for you. And there's probably hundreds of marketing strategies that'll work for you, just as much as there are hundreds and hundreds of potential partners who you could make it work with. So when it comes to comparison town, people go one of two ways. They start dating other things, right? Dating other marketing strategies. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to keep going with this one, but I'm also going to have a play on Instagram. I'm going to keep going with this one, but I'm also going to go and sign up for this person's webinar, right? So you start dating multiple people at once, multiple marketing strategies at once. Or you completely throw the one out that you've been working on and you go, and now I'm going to start fresh. So people, you do one of two things when you're in comparison town. But there's also another option. And that is when you find someone and the flaws are starting to, come out and comparison town starts, you decide, you know what, no, I really think that there's potential in this, so I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to see it through with this person through this space of seeing their flaws come forward. And it's the same with marketing strategies. There's a point in time where you go, you know what, like, okay, yep, that looks sexy. All those webinars are there, but I'm going to put my blinkers on because I'm just going to see this one through for a little longer, this marketing strategy. And then there's some boring bits, right? You start to see some things are working. When you're dating, maybe you move in together and dinner at home every night in front of the TV is probably a bit boring, right? It's a bit boring to you. That happens with marketing strategies as well. Oh my God, how many times do I have to say that same thing over and over and over on a webinar before I can make this work? There are some boring parts to some marketing strategies, but then you start to work out the kinks and then you start to see, oh, this is amazing. And the benefits outweigh the costs. The pros outweigh the cons, and you settle into this amazing, joyful rhythm and you live the rest of your life with this amazing person. It is the same with marketing strategies. So I want to know from you, are you a serial strategy dater? Are you someone who you get to comparison mode and then you throw it all out and you're like, no, I'm going to do this now. And then you get to that comparison mode and you go, no, I'm going to do this now. Or are you a cheater? Or a dating multiple things at once? Have you got 8 marketing strategies on the go right now and you've started new ones before you've even finished and decided whether you're done with the old one? Is that you? And I'm not, no judgment. I'm like, in the dating world, you can be polygamous or whatever you want to be. I'm not saying that, everyone needs to be monogamous or whatever. But when it comes to dating your marketing strategies, are you looking for answers from other things before you've seen this one through and know whether it's actually the one for you or not? So before we jump into building your $0 Facebook marketing strategy, we want to know where you're at right now. And this will give you some insights into what you need to work on. So I want you to give yourself, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being low and 5 being high, perfect, I want you to answer these 8 questions. Number 1, I make good sales from my $0 Facebook actions. So 1 would be no, not at all. And 5 would be heck yes, I do. Number 2, I have a large Facebook audience. Number 1 is no, I have no Facebook audience. Number 5 is heck yes, I have the biggest Facebook audience. Number 3, my Facebook audience is growing. 1 would be no, it's not growing, it's going backwards, it's stagnant. 5 would be yes, it's growing. I love it. It's growing great. It's growing fast. 4, I know how to write for my audience. So 1 would be no, I have no idea how to write for my audience. 5 would be yes, I'm really confident in how to write for my audience. Number 5, I could get 2 VIPs quickly and easily today. So number 1 would be I have no idea how to get VIPs. And 5 would be yes, I 100% believe I could get 2 VIPs quickly and easily. Number 6, I could get 5 sales conversations quickly and easily. So 1 would be no, I have no idea how to get people onto sales conversations. 5 would be yes, I absolutely could do something today and in the next 7 days have 5 sales conversations. Super easy. I know what to do. Number 7, I know the parts of my $0 Facebook strategy that are rocking and what areas need attention. So 1 would be, I have no idea what's working. I don't even have a strategy. I don't know. Something works sometimes, but I have no idea where it came from. And number 5 would be, yes, I know exactly this bit's working, this bit's not, this bit's working, this bit's not. And then number 8, I'm confident that if I turned my organic strategy into a paid one, it would deliver strong ROI. So 1 would be, I have no confidence in that right now. Number 5 would be, yes, I'm confident that if I took what I'm posting on my Facebook page organically and put ads behind it, I would get more money back than I'm putting in Facebook ads, significantly more. So 5 would be the most confident. So then what I want you to do is add up your total. So the lowest possible score in this would be 8, because you've got 1 on all 8, and the highest possible score would be 40. So I want you to just give yourself a rating from 8 to 40 on where you're at right now. And I want you to make a commitment. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. Make a commitment, put it in your calendar 2 months from now to come back and do this self-assessment again. Because by taking what you learned today and applying it out on Facebook, you will have moved from an 8 to a 40. You won't have gone the whole way, but you will have gone forward. You have gone closer to 40 and further away from 8. Does that make sense? Yes? So I want you to do that self-assessment and then put a little date in your calendar to do it 2 months from today. Okay, so here is the $0 Facebook marketing plan. There's 4 pieces to it. Number 1, your theories and assumptions. Number 2, testing your hypothesis. Number 3, building your unique strategy. And number 4, scaling what works. And we're going to go through each of these one by one for you so you can create the $0 Facebook marketing plan that works for you. Number 1, your theories and assumptions. So great businesses are not built on theory. There's never been a business that I know of where someone went, oh, you know what? I've got this great idea. And then they just create it and then they just go out there and it's a viral success and they never change a thing. That's not how it works. We build based on practice. Great businesses are built on taking action, seeing what works and what doesn't, and refining and moving forward. Take more action, test it, refine, move forward. Take more action, test, refine, move forward. But the thing is that you need to start somewhere. And most people, when they first start marketing on Facebook, they don't break it down in any meaningful way. So they're building a business based on their theories and their assumptions, but they don't know how to measure and adjust because they haven't broken down what those theories and assumptions are. So step number 1 to the $0 Facebook marketing plan is to actually get clear on what assumptions are you actually making. So there are 7 assumptions that you are making. You're making assumptions about your business idea, your business model, your niche, your value proposition, your messaging, your offer, and your marketing and sales. So there are 2 overall approaches to conducting research about those assumptions. Number 1 is looking for an answer to a question. So, what's the best food for, digestive health? You go out and you're trying to find an answer. And the second way is proving a hypothesis. I think that spinach is really good for my digestive health. I'm going to go and see if that's true. And most people favor one type or the other when they are going out to research things. So there are some people who are like, I don't have any clue most of the time, so I go and ask other people for the answer. And then there are other people who are like, I am more comfortable if I come up with an idea and then I test and see whether that's right or not. So most of us actually favor one type over the other. And when you're starting a business, you actually need both, right? But the big thing with Facebook marketing is we want to be proving a hypothesis. So we want to come up with some beliefs, some hypothesis about what it is that we're doing. And then we need to go and actually test, is this true or not, right? So what I want you to do is to write down all 7 of those assumptions. What is your business idea? So my assumption is that I can make money or make a profit from this particular thing, right? Selling bottle openers shaped like dogs' butts. I don't know, whatever your business idea is. I'm assuming I can make money selling my services as a kinesiologist. I'm assuming I can make money A, B, and C, whatever it is that you want to do. So when I first started my business, it was teaching online marketing and business strategy to women. That was my idea. I was going to teach online marketing and business strategy to women. And I even worked with a few dudes because a few dudes asked me if I'd help them too. But I knew I kind of wanted to work with women even when I first started. So write down, like, what is your business idea? I want to sell t-shirts. I want to be a web designer. what is it that you want to actually do? Number 2, your business model. So I'm assuming that I can have a profitable business by selling my services one-to-one. I'm assuming I can have a profitable business by selling courses, by having a range of products and services. What is the business model that you're building? Number 3 is your niche. So I believe that I'm going to be successful by focusing on selling to this type of person. This is my niche. Same with your value proposition. I'm assuming people are willing to pay for this particular outcome, right? Because it's an exchange. I'm selling my products or services to help people solve this problem, and I'm assuming that they'd be willing to pay this much money for that. That's a value proposition, or that they'd be willing to pay money for it, full stop. Number 5 is messaging. I'm assuming that if I tell people this, it will resonate with them. If I tell people this, they'll pay me money to fix it. Same with your offer. I'm assuming people will pay $1,000 for 8 one-on-one coaching sessions with me. Whatever your offer is, I'm assuming that this offer, this package, this service, this product is going to be valuable to people and that they'll buy it. And marketing is sales. I'm assuming that I will be able to go online and find clients without spending money through Facebook. Right? So once you start writing these assumptions down and breaking it down in this way, you can see there's a lot of assumptions you make when you start a business. So in the $0 Facebook marketing plan, we're going to start testing that hypothesis. Now, the best way to test it is with the warmest and most accessible audiences first. So that might be people you know, friends of friends, ex-work colleagues, people who you're already connected with, people that you know, right? That's where you are best to test your hypothesis through the lens of, as long as they are within your target market. So if you want to sell environmentally friendly sanitary products to women, asking your husband what he thinks is probably not the space to be testing your assumptions, right? But there are probably people, if you were to think about it, you probably already know 10 people who would be perfect clients in your mind for the products and services that you're wanting to sell right now, right? We often are afraid to talk to those people about it because we don't want to come across salesy, and we don't want to let people know we're trying something, and we don't want to let go of that front of having it all figured out. But actually, they are the best audiences for you to actually ask questions of and connect with and test your hypotheses with. Then the next warmest would be pre-existing communities. So things like Facebook groups. So, for example, the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook group is a pre-existing community of 32,000 plus women who have a sense of trust with each other. They're connected. They're there for a reason. They see a value proposition in being part of that community. And they are a really warm, beautiful audience. So there's a space where you can test your hypotheses if your ideal client is a woman in any way, shape, or form, whether that's women who are in jobs, because there's still women in jobs in that group, whether your audience is women who have businesses, whether it's women who are mums, whether it's women who are pregnant, whether it's whatever it is. If it's women and people identify as mostly female, you're going to find some of your audience in that community. It's a great place to test your hypotheses. If your ideal client is male, or identifies mostly as man, then you're going to find other spaces where you can, the pre-existing communities exist. So it might be LinkedIn groups. I find works really well if you're more male orientated in your business. Now, for all of you who are going, oh, but I could help women or men, I just want you to just remember you need to make a decision. And niche is one of the reasons why people find it really hard to get their messaging working and get things sorted. I'm not going to give you a niche lesson here in this training. I want to stick to $0 Facebook marketing, but niching is critical. And there are some important decisions that you need to make. And one of those very important decisions is, am I working with men or women? It's so important and critical to your marketing strategy. So you need to make a decision there. Number 3 is your platform. So if you have a Facebook page and you've started one, or you're going to start one, even if you get 10 followers to start with, you can test some of your hypotheses with that audience. You don't need lots of people, remember, just a few. And most importantly, we want to test through conversations. You can prove so much of your hypotheses simply by saying, well, this is what I offer and this is what it can help you do, and it's this much money. What do you think? That will tell you way more than asking in Facebook groups, would you pay $100 for a session that helped you to get clear on your vision for the next year? People will tell you, yes, yeah, sure, I'd pay $100 for that. But that's very different to someone saying, yes, I really want that. Here's $100. And the way that you test is through conversations. Conversations give you way more than any disconnected strategy could ever give you. So you can test your hypothesis in different ways. Now, I told you I was going to share with you a bit about my early journey. I actually went through all of the sales that I made in the first 6 months in my business to see where did my first sales come from and what order did I make sales in. So my first sales, I think it was first 3 or 4, were to friends of friends and friends of friends, I should say. So it was through my existing networks. When I first started my business, I had a friend. I knew I could help her. I made a proposition to her. If you pay me this much, I'll help you with your business. And she said, heck yes, absolutely. And we started working together straight away. And then she referred a couple of people through to me who she knew, and they paid me. And I did some interviews of some friends of mine and actually my cousin as well. And I got a client through my cousin. I interviewed her to ask her because I thought she was my ideal client. And she was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really into doing this. And I don't know if I really want to get started with this business yet. But my friend has been talking about doing this for her business. And I think you could really help her. Can I get her to talk to you? So I had conversations with friends and friends of friends. And that's where my first sales came through. Then I also started going to local events. My first events were I was about 1 month to 6 weeks into my business. And I started going to all the local events I could find, business breakfasts and things to network with people and get to know people in my local area. And I made a couple of sales at business breakfast where there was 25 people there and there'd be a speaker. And at the start of the breakfast, you'd stand up and say what you did. And I stood up and said, I help women to navigate social media and get sales online. And a couple of people came to me and said, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need. Can we talk about whether we can work together? So they were the next ones. Then I started to get some sales come through from Facebook groups, and I was in 3 Facebook groups, not my own, other people's Facebook groups. And I was in them to get advice. Like, how do I do this thing on MailChimp? What are you doing here? Because I had no money, remember? So I didn't have a business coach after that first day. And I had to work this all out on my own. I asked all these questions. And whenever I found something out, I would share it with other people as well. And I was in these 3 Facebook groups. And then people started asking me, oh my gosh, I gave a hint on like a way to come up with structures for your titles for your blog posts. And someone said to me, oh my gosh, I really struggle with coming up with titles for my blog posts. I don't know what to say on blogs. I just cannot. I just get this huge blank. And she sent me a message and said, thank you so much for sharing that tip. I'm still struggling with it, but I just wanted to say thank you because you really got me started thinking about how I could structure the title of my blog posts. And I said to her, no worries at all. It can be really hard. If you want to do some brainstorming, let me know. And she said, yes, that would be so powerful. I really want that. Can we do that? We jumped on, we did some brainstorming for 20 minutes, and then she stopped me. She said, you know what? This is so good. I just realized this is your business, isn't it? I was like, yeah, this is what I do. She said, stop helping me for free. How can I pay you? And she was my first client from a Facebook group. And then I started doing offers into Facebook groups that allowed market days / offer days. And I was just basing it on what I was learning from the people I was working with and making offers to help them in that way. And I started to get these really consistent sales. And I was doing webinars. So then I think I ran my first webinar like a month into my business or 2 months into my business. And I had 13 people sign up to the webinar. I had 1 person come live. No one purchased on the webinar itself, but in the follow-up to that webinar, probably a month later, 1 person converted into a paying client. And then I did more webinars, and then I started to get some really consistent sales through my webinars. That was my dog Munchkin sneezing, by the way. And then I was probably 5 months into my business before I had the first person reach out to me who said, I found you through your Facebook page. My friend follows you, and I think you might be able to help me. What can I do? How can I work with you? And it was 7 or 8 months before I made a sale through my website. So you can see, if you think about how connected people are to me, those strategies are the most connected to the least connected, and it is no coinky-dink that that's where my sales came from. So my early sales came from the high connection strategies, and I took what I learned from the sales I was making and applied that out into my other strategies. So I had a Facebook page from the first day of my business. I had a website very early in my business and a blog very early in my business. Those things didn't convert people into paying clients for a while, but in the meantime, I was making sales through other strategies that were more high connection. So in testing your hypothesis, what is it that we are testing? And I wanted to go through this in detail with you again. So when it comes to your business idea, what you're testing is this thing viable? Can I make enough money to sustain myself and get into a space where like this actually could be a thing? Your business model, is this profitable? Can I make enough profit from like what I'm doing? Niche, who needs and wants what it is that I'm selling? Value proposition, will they invest in that thing? Messaging, what's the journey that I need to take people on in order for them to say, yes, that's what I need, here's my money? Offer, does the offer, the thing that you're offering up for people, appeal, convert, and deliver on the promise? And I think that's something a lot of people miss out on. Like, it's not just about will people buy the outcome, it's can I deliver on the outcome with this offer? And then marketing and sales, how do I reach and convert people into paying clients? So we are testing all of those things, those hypotheses, through our marketing strategies. But the sexy part of this is that you are testing and proving it by making money. You're making sales and that proves that you've got the right idea, that you've got the right mindset, that you've got the right market, that you've got the right niche. You're proving it by making money. Instead of like proving it by getting some random expert to tell you that it's right and then going out there, once you've perfected it after 6 months of rumination, you prove it by going out there and making money. Yay! So let's build your unique strategy then so that you can go out and test those hypotheses. So our principles behind picking the strategy that works for you, because everyone's strategy will be unique and built on their strengths, are that you need to, first of all, reach people and convert them into clients, right? Number one, that's what marketing is. Reaching people, converting them into clients. Whether it's reach people through a TV ad and they pick up the phone and buy from you, or reach people by sending them a message saying, hey, I think this might be cool for you. We talked about it at the barbecue, and them saying, yes, absolutely. That's great. That's marketing 101. You can't make it simpler than that. You need to reach people and convert them into clients. That's it. Number two, connection maximizes conversion. So where you have the choice to choose from a connected strategy versus a disconnected strategy, I would always choose the connected strategy because it maximizes conversion. Particularly when you're first starting out in your business, you can go to more disconnected strategies when you've got cash flow, when you've got budget, when you've got a team. But we need to focus, when you're focused on growing your income in the short term and getting your business off the ground and really getting these free strategies working effectively, it is connection that creates conversion. So where you can be more connected to people, prioritize that. Number three, short-term focus first, scale later. So, you might think, yeah, but I'm not going to be able to grow to $100,000 a year by doing this like really hyper-connected strategy. That's right, but you can use the scalable strategies later when you've got money to spend on them. So focus on the short term, getting the proof and proving those hypotheses first, then start scaling your strategies. Number four, remember our principle is we're on a discovery mission. You need to be hyper curious. So when you do a post on Facebook and you make a sale, don't just go, oh, yay, that's great, moving on. Really get curious. Why did that one work? What was it about the messaging? Who bought it? How did they see me? Where did they come from? Get hyper curious. Now, some of those things you won't know the answer to, but wherever you can find the answer, go and look for the answer. And every single person who books in to have a conversation with you, every single person who ends up working with you, if you don't ask them, what made you decide to join and buy this, or where did you find me? If you're not asking those two questions, you are missing out on crucial information on how you can start scaling things. So for every person you speak to, you should be saying, one, where did you find me? Or how did you find me? And two, what made you buy? Those two questions are critical. Number five, if it works, repeat it, do it again, and then scale it. I've had so many people who come to me and they say, I just did this most amazing webinar and it worked so well. What do I do for my next webinar? And I'm like, just do the same one again. That one worked. Why would you try and pick a different one? And they're like, yeah, but some people might be seeing the same webinar over again. It's like, yeah, that's okay. Some people need to hear the same message 10 times before they actually convert. But if it's working, why would you then go and find something else to do? Repeat the same things. The things that work, do them over and over and over again. And then when you can get them working on repeat, scale them up and get them in front of tens of thousands of people. That's business. That's smart strategy. And then number six, always remember the dating situation. There are going to be times when things are boring. There are going to be times when you see some flaws in things, but you need to see this thing out. No cheating and no comparison strategies. You keep those blinkers on and keep seeing your strategy through until you know unequivocally, will this work or will this not? Is this the right strategy for me or is this not the right strategy for me? And when you're just starting to first see some flaws, that's not when you make that decision. You make that decision when you've seen it through. Okay, so we need to find a unique strategy that fits your strengths, your niche, and your budget. And not just your money budget, but your time budget. Strategies that take a lot of time don't work for women who are staying home looking after kids, for example. If you've got a job and you're trying to start your business on the side, time-intensive strategies aren't going to be the right strategies for you. So I can't give you a step-by-step, here's a one-size-fits-all strategy, and no other marketer can either. If they tell you they've worked out the secret formula, the one strategy that's going to help you get success and it's going to work for everyone, they are lying to you and they're lying to themselves. When they say, I've found the magic 108 steps to success, and this is the only way to success, that's not actually true. What is true is they're saying, I can only help you if you follow these 108 steps, because that's the only way that I've worked out to make it work right now. And that is often a symptom of the fact that it's their unique strategy, their strengths, their niche, and their budget that they had to do it. So I can't give you that unique strategy, but I can help you work out what that strategy is for you based on making some critical decisions. So I'm going to give you a very simple starter strategy. And I want you to remember you are testing and you're on a discovery mission. So here's an example of a great starter strategy for someone selling services on Facebook with $0 budget and with, say, being able to put 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 days a week into their marketing. And then 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 days a week into delivery. So this would be a strategy that would work for that. Number one, create a Facebook page and post daily. That is your long-term home of your business. That is where you collect your audience. That is where you create trust. That is where you deliver value. So you set up a Facebook page. That is your online home for your business, and you post on that every single day. Now, you don't have to post a sales pitch on there every single day. You can post what you have for lunch. You can post interesting insights about you from behind the scenes. You can post tips. You can post hints. There's lots of different things that you can post, but post every single day and make a commitment to being consistent with that, because that is something that it takes time to build the algorithm in your favor, and you need to be consistent. Consistency trumps flash and crash every single time. Number two, you would post, maybe pick 3 Facebook groups that contain a good portion of your ideal client, and you post in those groups every single day. So Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs group is a great group to start doing something like that. Have a think about where your ideal client hangs out online, what Facebook groups are they a member of, and post daily. Now, as I said, if you work with men, it's probably better to be on LinkedIn. If you work with people who are in a job and not at all thinking about entrepreneurship, not at all open to entrepreneurship, LinkedIn may also be a better place for you. Or it might be Facebook groups that are interest-based rather than entrepreneurship-based. But you can absolutely find spaces. But you want to find 3 spaces where your ideal client hangs out online each day and you can post there daily. Number 3, doing interviews with potential ideal clients. This is where you're testing the hypothesis of your messaging and what they need and what they would pay for and what they're looking for and your value proposition. So getting out there and saying, okay, there are these 3 people. I could definitely help those 3 people. I'm going to go and I'm going to ask them, can I interview you? And ask them some questions. What's your biggest challenge? What is it that you're looking for? Where do you go to look to try and solve that problem? So doing some interviews with those people. Number 4, you get out there and you start selling introductory offers. So if you're a health coach and you do an initial health analysis and action plan, it's a single session, it goes for an hour, charge $97, and you go out there and you offer your introductory offers. And then for the right people, once they've got their plan, you can upsell them into working with you as a VIP. Okay, you've got your plan. Do you want me to tell you how I can help you actually implement this plan? Okay, yep, we can keep working together this way. The package is $1,500. What do you think? Right now, I'm totally glossing over sales call techniques and marketing strategy and messaging, but we're giving you the structure, the skeleton structure of a strategy here. Okay. So introductory offers, upsell to VIP. You might do free introductory sessions and upsell people to VIP. You might have a book that you get out there and promote, and in it, you offer people your VIP packages. You can do things in way different ways. You might do in-person workshops, free goal-setting workshops, and in that workshop, you upsell people to VIP locally. There's so many options to you here, right? Number 5 is webinars that sell your introductory offer and upsell. So you're doing a webinar. I would recommend doing it once a month, and a content strategy to warm up colder audience. So you do a video blog every single week. So that would be a simple starter strategy for $0 Facebook marketing. It's got 6 components, but they all follow one strategy, and that is proving your 7 hypotheses. And you're proving it through going out there and doing a mix of warm and cold strategies that will make sales. Sexy, right? So you could start with a strategy like this and get out there and start working on it. And then you're on a discovery mission to work out and test which of those things need to be focused. What is the messaging you use in each? What is the niche that you're focusing on? So you go out there and test and see what works. Now, what the beautiful thing is, you'll get some feedback. So when you try something and it doesn't work, number 1, remember the dating situation. Sometimes it doesn't work the first time, but you work your way through it. And it's not a reason to throw everything out and just go and start dating someone else, right? So just get really curious about why it hasn't worked. Make small adjustments first. Don't do big, wide sweeping adjustments. Make small adjustments first on what you think it might be. Troubleshoot. Now, it's usually one of 3 things. 1, you're not getting enough reach with this strategy. 2, it's not converting. 3, there's something going on with your mindset. You don't actually want clients because you're really worried about the money coming in and you can't handle it. So troubleshoot on those 3 areas. Is it a reach issue? Is it a conversion issue? Is it a mindset issue? And number 5, get expert eyes on it. When you start implementing a strategy and you are starting to see, oh, this part is not working or something's not working, often you can't see what's wrong with it. You can't see why it's not working, and you're not experienced enough to be able to diagnose and fix that thing. That's when having a coach or a mentor or working with someone who is an expert in helping people with this part of the strategy is a really, really powerful investment. It's a really good idea. So get some expert eyes on things if they are not working. When they do work, you still have some work to do on this. So number 1, don't lose the curiosity. Why did it work? What did I do? Why did it work? And how did it work? Number 2, refine it down to what is the core thing that worked here. So sometimes you'll do a week of posts on your Facebook page and you'll have 20 new followers. You're like, oh my gosh, my post on my Facebook page really worked. But it will be one of those things that worked really well. What was the core thing that got the most followers there? Along with consistency. Consistency will also always be part of that. Number 3, repeat, repeat, repeat. If you run a webinar and it works, run it again. If you do a Facebook page post and it works really well and you get lots of engagements, do it again. You might change the photo slightly or change the wording slightly, but do it again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And then systemize it as you go so you know exactly what you're doing that is working and it's documented. So if you create a webinar strategy and you go out and promote it with all your $0 Facebook marketing plan and it works, please, for love of all things that are good, make sure you write down what you did so that next time it's a checklist for what you're going to do next time. And so many people don't do this. They think they will remember everything and they just don't. And I am definitely someone who does this too. For me, it's often Facebook Lives. I'll do some Facebook Lives during my launch and they will convert people into paying clients so quickly. I'm like, wow, that worked so well. And then my next launch comes around. I'm like, I know doing Facebook Lives converts, but I can't remember what I talked about on them. And I have to go back and have a look. If you document as you go and create a little system for yourself and keep note of what works, then you know what you need to do again next time. And then from there, you're set to scale it because you've nailed it. So step 4 in the Facebook marketing plan is scale what works. And I like to scale in stages. So step 1 is to increase your prices. If it sold at $100, can it sell at $150? If it sold at $150, can it sell at $200, right? So scale your pricing first. For most women in business, they undercharge when they first start, and that's totally okay as long as you're increasing your prices consistently. So the first way to scale to get more money per hour that you invest is to increase your prices. It's the easiest way, it's the fastest way, it's the most effective way, and for most people, it's the most important way to do it first. Secondly, see if you can scale to colder audiences. So can you get to colder audiences by posting in groups where it's not as small and connected? Or scale to colder audiences by going into larger groups or whatever it might be. Colder audiences that don't necessarily know you as well. Or when you do your webinar, instead of only promoting your webinar to people on your mailing list and who follow your Facebook page, go and promote it out to colder audiences that way. Maybe you could interview other experts in your industry and they interview you and you're getting out in front of their audiences and you're putting them in front of your audiences, right? That's scaling it into colder audiences. Stage number 3 would be outsourcing. So for example, scheduling things onto your Facebook page. Once you know what works and you know what the content is and you've got an idea of what the structure is of your posts that you got put up every day, you can write the post and get someone else to schedule them for you. So you're not investing your time on things that aren't your zone of genius. That's just your zone of competence. It's not something that's you don't get lit up by sitting and scheduling things over and over again. Outsource those things that aren't you showing up and being there and being present for your audience so that you can put more of your time into the things where you can be connected, and then into paid advertising. So then you can, if you've got 2 Facebook posts that work really well and get you lots of people signed up to your webinar, then go and put some money behind them and get them in front of bigger audiences by using Facebook ads. But I wouldn't do that until you can get the people signed up to the webinar, and also when those people sign up to the webinar, they actually buy something from you. So we want to scale it in stages so we're not risking money and time and energy on things that don't work yet. So that brings us to the end of the $0 Facebook marketing plan. You've got those beautiful 4 stages to work through. If you have recognized that it is time for you to get some serious marketing mentoring, if you've tried things and they haven't worked, you want to get expert eyes on them, or you realize you haven't committed to your Facebook strategy and your $0 strategy yet and you want to, that just so happens to be my jam. And I would love for you to check out my Takeoff program. This is a group program. It's a highly connected group program where you get step-by-step modules from me, where I walk you through the process of not only getting all those assumptions out on the table and testing them effectively, but also crafting your sales conversations, your messaging, your webinars, what you're posting on your Facebook page, all of the bits of your marketing plan. I take you through that through 12 step-by-step modules, and we have live support calls twice a month. So 2 times per month, you can jump on a live call with me and we talk about your business. And this is not a self-study program. It is a group mentoring program where you have conversations with me and I get my eyes on your business and give you that feedback, because I think that's critical when you're in this stage of business. And it also has a Facebook community, and we have over 300 women in the Takeoff community now. And that's where you can get peer support and mentoring and networking and ideas and feedback. And I'm also in that Facebook community answering questions, giving feedback, and connecting you in with the people and things that you need in order to grow your business. So if you'd like to check out the Takeoff program, you can go to tashcorbin.com/takeoff. There should be a button below this video for you to click on and go and check it out. And just to let you know, the Takeoff program includes access for the life of the program. So there's not a 12-week period, you're in, you have to do it, and then you're out. You can take this program at your own pace. And if it takes you 6 months to get to the point where you're feeling like, yep, I got it, I'm making the money and I don't need to come to calls anymore, you can keep coming for 6 months. There are people who still come 2 years later. They're making $8,000, $10,000 a month in their business. They still come to the Takeoff program calls because they know that they can keep going, building those foundations, going deeper, and really refining that strategy as they go. So you get access for the life of the program. As long as Takeoff exists, once you're in, you're in. And you get access to all updates and calls. So if I update the program, if I add extra bonus calls, you get access to all of those forevermore, as long as I keep doing them. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions. You don't have to show me your homework. You don't even have to have logged into the portal. If you buy the Takeoff program and 30 days later you're like, oh, I never even looked at that, can I get my money back? You can have your money back. If you get into the Takeoff program and you're in there for 30 days, you download all the modules, you do all the work, and after 30 days you're like, I don't need to be in Takeoff anymore. I'm making $10,000 a month already in the first 30 days, and I think maybe I want my money back. You can have your money back because I don't ask you why you want it back. Now, you also get the step-by-step strategy and support that you need to get to 6 to 8K months. And I give that price range, I give that amount because a lot of people are like, yeah, but what am I expecting here? What is it that I'm building towards? And I find once you're making a consistent $6,000 a month in your business, you've proven all the things that you need to prove and you're ready to scale it. And that's what I do. I help you get to those early stages of scaling and start scaling your business with the strategy, this Facebook strategy. And I get you to the point where you can move from free strategies into paid strategies and hit that transition point from investing time to make money into now investing money to get back time. That's where I get you to with the Takeoff program. So if you have any questions about it, you can email us at support@tashcorbin.com. Go and check out Takeoff now if it sounds like the right fit for you, tashcorbin.com/takeoff. Thank you for joining me for $0 Facebook marketing plan. And until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. Bye for now.